Good morning.
Great, morning.
It's my pleasure to introduce our speaker today. Allan Kaufman is a friend. He's an active Tuesday Club member and someone I think many of you know because this is Allan's 5th Tuesday Club talk. You'll remember his swimming with the sharks as a volunteer diver with the aquarium. And then his talk on distracted driving. That was in his wheelhouse because he definitely is safety-minded and has a great background with that respect. Allan helped us understand environmental issues facing our Great Lakes. He volunteers in lots of different things, and that's a very significant one. And he talked about Flight 93 on September 12th, most recently, one day after the 22nd anniversary of the 9/11 attack. A little background. Allan is a Vietnam combat veteran. After his service, he was Director of Environmental Health and Safety and Fleet Safety for Quest Diagnostics. Allan has always been civic-minded, and we thank him for that. And safety for seniors has been Allan's passion. He is well qualified to cover this very important topic for us this morning. Please welcome Allan Kaufman.
Thank you, Ron, and thank the Tuesday Club for allowing me to make this presentation. One thing we're going to learn about this presentation, it's all about me. But it's really all about all of us, because I'm guessing that everybody here is a senior or almost a senior. And we're going to talk about things that happen. A lot of these things you already know about. But hopefully it'll refresh your memory or give you some hints on what you can do to keep your place where you live safer and keep you safe. There's a lot of things that we as seniors have happen. We fall down a lot, and we'll talk a lot about that. There's fires. We drive okay, sometimes not so okay. So we're going to talk a lot about that, and hopefully you'll get some hints or some topics that you can use when you go back to your home. First and foremost, though, especially if you live with somebody else, be it a wife, husband, partner, whatever, you should learn CPR. CPR is not easy, especially for seniors, but it does save lives. And recently, I know a lot of people don't like to do CPR because they think the breathing part, I don't want to put my mouth on somebody else's mouth, especially with COVID. Well, about 8-10 years ago, the American Heart Association and the Academy of Emergency Room Physicians changed the structure of CPR to compression only. What it does is it gets the blood flowing through your brain, keeping you alive. So we're going to watch this very short video and and give you some hints on CPR.
If you see an adult suddenly collapse, it's important to act fast. Just use hands-only CPR. The first step is to send someone to call 911 or call 911 yourself. Then get directly over the victim. Put the heel of one hand in the center of the chest. Then put your other hand on top of the first. Then push hard and fast in the center of the chest until help arrives. It's important to push at a rate of 100 beats per minute, which is approximately this tempo. Let's hope you never have to use hands-only CPR. But if you see an adult suddenly collapse, don't be afraid to try it. All you need to remember is to call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of the chest until help arrives. Your actions can help save a life. Hands-only CPR should only be used when you see an adult who has suddenly collapsed and is unresponsive. To learn more, call 877-AHA-4CPR or visit handsonlycpr.org today.
Okay, couple things about hands-only CPR. It's obviously at 100 beats per minute, which if you know, the Bee Gees have a song, Staying Alive. You may have heard that before. That's exactly the rhythm of how you should push. But even if you push slower, it's okay until help arrives. The number one thing that they said, call 911 or have somebody else call 911. And then push as hard as you can and at a range, a rhythm that won't tire you out, because you may have to do it for 10 minutes or longer. And it is a long time, but remember, you're trying to save somebody's life. So let's look at what the top causes of injury and death are people over 65. I'm guessing that pretty much everybody here is over 65. Close. Thank you. Number one, falls. By far, falls. And we're going to talk a lot about that. Motor vehicle crashes, choking and suffocation, poisoning, and fires or burns. And you'll notice these all came from the National Safety Council, where I used to work. They put out a yearly facts and injury list every year. So this is substantiated through the National Safety Council. Also, another thing that you as seniors, us as seniors, should be aware of: medical alert systems. You know the ad, help, I've fallen and I can't get up, right? You've seen it on TV a number of times. You should have, especially if you live alone, some type of medical alert system that can notify somebody, even if it's Alexa on Amazon or whomever, to call 911 and get help. Too often, seniors have fallen and they can't get up, and they don't get up. This is why medical alert systems, and I'm not promoting you to buy them. That's not my job. I have a link on you see on the screen there. It's just a comparison of the 10 top. If you want it, you can contact Jill and I'll be happy to send it to you, or she'll send you the slide. And you can look at the different ones yourself and see if it's something you want. But I highly recommend that if you're living alone, you have some source of getting assistance if you need it, because falls are the number one reason why seniors die and are injured. Okay. So I want you to look at this picture. There's 15 safety issues. Some are really obscure. Don't worry about it. Some are pretty obvious. If you can find 5 in your own mind, look and see, can you find 5? I'll give you a minute or two, and then we'll go over all of them. So see if you can find 5. Anybody need more time? Okay, I'm going to show you the answers. And some of them are pretty obscure. I know. I didn't make this up. Okay, number 1, loose rugs. You all see the loose rug in the middle of the floor, right? And near the stairs. Number 2, outdated medicines. Nobody, I don't think, would have gotten this one. But in the cabinet, there's some outdated medicines. Clutter on the staircase. And we will talk more about this. Clutter on the staircase. flip-flop slippers. If you notice, both the man and the woman are wearing flip-flop slippers. We'll talk a little bit about your shoes later. Newspapers too close to the lamp. Hopefully you can see the lamp back there, and there's some newspapers, a little bit of a fire hazard. No handle on the door and no deadlocks on the doors. I don't know why they put this one in, but it's a safety issue. You can't get out of the room if you need to, and everybody can get in. Stairs do not have a handrail. Okay, did you get that one? That was pretty obvious. That's a pretty important one. Deactivated fire alarms. See on the ceiling up there, there's a deactivated fire alarm. Can't tell you how many times when I talk to firefighters have responded to buildings and apartments with deactivated fire alarms. People don't change the battery, and we'll talk about this later when we talk about fires. Overloading cloth on the space heater. I don't know today, too many people use space heaters, but some still do. Another fire hazard. Overloading outlets. With today's electronics, this is something that people do a lot of. And again, it becomes an electrical fire hazard. Loose extension cords in the traffic area. You can see the dog chewing on one and in the middle of the floor. Again, a trip and fall hazard. Smoking cigarettes left unattended. If you smoke, and I'm not making any judgments here, on the table behind the man, there's a cigarette smoke lit and it's burning. No automatic shut off on the coffee maker and open bottles of medicine. I'll do those two together. You can see in the bottom of the right side, there's a coffee maker and it's overflowing. And again, electrical hazard that could cause a spark and a fire. And on the floor next to it is some medicine that's been left open. And that could be a hazard for people coming to visit you, like grandchildren. Okay, so let's look at your home a little bit. And things that are really important to think about. I'm going from the top down. Hit cords. If you have a room where you do an office or do some work and so forth, are your cords out of the way so you don't trip on them? And also, are they manageable so they're not overloaded? In your bathroom, do you have grab bars? We'll get to that in a little bit. Also, widen doorways. The reason that's in there is because more and more seniors are using aids to either walk or wheelchairs. And are your doors wide enough to get that wheelchair through? Adequate lighting, that should be throughout the whole house. You really need adequate lighting in your home as a senior for a number of reasons. And our vision is getting worse as we get older. And if we can't see something, it's easy to fall and trip over it. And the kitchen, we'll talk about later, also something easy to reach. And the big one, again, we as seniors have a lot of stuff. And I'm sure all of you can probably kind of relate to that. Stuff in your home that you don't want to get rid of, but you don't know where to always to put it. So what ends up happening, it becomes clutter in your home. Clutter leads to falls. So try and at least organize the clutter in a safe place where you're not walking. Okay, this is a little YouTube about being in your home.
Hello, I'm Erin Albers with Home Instead Senior Care. Studies show that an overwhelming majority of seniors, between 85 and 90%, want to stay in their homes as they age. Experts agree that it is usually beneficial to a senior's health if they can stay home as long as possible. Now, that is especially true with cases of Alzheimer's and dementia, where familiar surroundings are often key to the senior's sense of well-being. However, Household hazards can pose serious safety problems that can threaten a senior's independence. In fact, falls and other accidents around the home are the leading cause of hospitalization and emergency room visits for older adults. Today, we will show you a few simple and inexpensive ways to make home safer for seniors. According to a recent survey, 100% of emergency room doctors reported that falls are the most common accident experienced by seniors at home. Other accidents include medication mishaps, cuts, and burns. According to the emergency room doctors, the bathroom is the room in which most accidents are likely to happen. However, they say potential hazards can be found in every room of the house, including bedrooms, kitchens, and stairwells. As for the activities that are most likely to lead to accidents, the emergency room doctors surveyed said they are bathing, climbing ladders, walking stairs, and house or yard work. The good news is that those same ER doctors estimate that nearly half of home accidents can be avoided. Today, we're going to show you some of the simple household modifications you can help your senior make so that they can continue to live at home safe home. It's important to start out with a complete home safety check to assess what your senior needs to make their home as safe as possible. Emergency room doctors recommend conducting a room-by-room check at least once a year to ensure the home remains safe as your senior's needs change. Since most accidents occur in the bathroom, let's start there. Stepping up into a shower or tub can be tricky for seniors who have mobility issues, balance problems, or nerve damage caused by diabetes or other concerns. Add to that the danger of slipping because there is water involved and both feet are not on the ground. A walk-in shower can significantly reduce this risk and make it much easier for seniors to access without assistance. We also recommend grab bars in the shower and around the toilet. They not only offer support, they also provide seniors with leverage to pull themselves up from a sitting position or into the shower. Stairwells are another common area for trips and falls at any age, particularly for seniors. Make sure that your senior stairs have a secure handrail that runs the length of the stairs and that their stairwell is well lit. Also, the stairway should always be clutter-free to avoid tripping. Moving on to the kitchen, it is important to keep items your senior uses regularly on lower shelves, so they are not reaching above their heads to get something down, which could lead to strains, loss of balance, or a crash. Also, not having items on high shelves eliminates the need for your senior to get up on a stool. Throughout the house, make sure there is adequate lighting. Remove clutter and make sure that extension cords are flush against the walls and not in any path where your senior walks. Also, remove all throw rugs. Even if they are secured down by adhesive, the raise in elevation could take a senior by surprise and be a fall risk. For more information about how you can keep your senior safe at home, please visit our website, makinghomesaferforseniors.com.
Okay, so some of those things we've talked about a little bit, and we'll go into a little bit more depth on some of those. But I thought it was a good overview of when you're living in your own home or apartment, condo, what some of the things you can do to make it safer. So, common falls. As you can see here, all kinds of reasons why seniors fall. Loose rugs. And of course, in Chicago, we don't have any snow and ice, so we don't really have to worry about that. But snow and ice. Clutter on the stairs, the bathroom, and getting up on a step stool or a ladder. And there are other reasons why people fall. Sometimes it's just because your balance isn't good. And as we get older, that happens more frequently. Here's some of the other reasons. If you take medication, do you know how it affects you? Some of the side effects that can be there. Some medications cause you to be drowsy or maybe lose your balance, especially if you're taking it in combination with other things. Other things you can do is stay active, become a walker, or whatever you can do to be active. So your activity, your body is adjusted to knowing to move. And that's really important. Remember with the flip-flops, I said we talk sensible shoes. You should be wearing sensible shoes as a senior, shoes with good grip on the sole, so that when you do walk, and especially on an uneven path, your shoes will help you keep traction so you don't fall. On the staircase, use the handrails. I would ask for hands if everybody used handrails, but I'm not going to, because I'm sure there are some people here who do not use the handrails going up or down stairs. Have adequate lighting on your staircase, as we also said, also in your home, so you can see better. And on the bottom right, remove the clutter. Clutter is a really big issue for seniors when they fall. A lot of emergency room physicians have said people come in, they've fallen because they've tripped over something that they left on their floor. So it's easy to remove the clutter and make your home safer. The number one place for falls to happen, you heard it in the video, the bathroom. By far, more people fall in the bathroom than any other place. And when I say people, I mean seniors. Tubs like this, if you still have a tub like this, where you have to step over to get in, do you have something you can hold on to? Is there a handrail near you, or a bath rail, or something? As they said, the walk-in tubs are a little bit nicer, but notice the floor on this walk-in tub in front. Do you see anything there? No rug. So when this person gets out of the tub with wet feet, they're going to be walking on probably a tile floor of some kind that's probably a little slippery, and they're going to have wet feet. You need to have non-slip mat, so at least you don't take that first step and go sliding across the floor. Or you can do something like this. This happens to be a really interesting shower. It's in my house. You notice it has two handrails inside the shower, back wall and side wall, and that handrail on the side wall runs all the way down. Look at the floor in the shower. No step at all. You can walk directly straight in. And they are promoting that now, and more Home Depots and Lowe's is having a shower door that goes all the way to the floor, so you don't have to step in. Sometimes you have to have a little drain tub where there's about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch step over, but you can get almost eliminate having to step over something. As a senior, isn't this great? You can just walk right in. We just did this to our other bathroom too. So now all of our showers are just like this, straight. I put this link here. This is not I'm not selling you anything, but it talks about grab bars. If you do not have grab bars in your shower or your bathroom, this link will talk about how to install them, how to buy them, how to properly position them, and so forth. So it is available. I'm not going to it. I just want you to know that there's information out there for you if you need it and you want to put bars in your bathroom or around your other places. Also, elevated toilet seats. The newer toilets that are coming out are slightly elevated. Kohler's, American Standard, they have elevated toilet seats now. This is an extension to that. You can buy this at a lot of home pharmacy stores, or you can rent it. It also has bars. Think about when you sit on the toilet, and I know, not everybody sits the same way. Is it easy for you to get up? If you don't have something you can hold on to, is it easy for you? This makes it a lot easier. And a bath mat that's non-slip on the other side. Person getting out, there it is. These are little things you can do to make your bathrooms safer. Of course, using a handrail, so I'm skipping wrong. It is important for everyone to use a handrail. And I'm saying this to mostly the guys. I don't care how macho you are. It's so easy to fall if you don't use a handrail. And it doesn't have to be in your house. It could be out somewhere where you have to go up or down some stairs. Use the handrail. The balance is so much better when you have 3 points of contact versus 2. If you don't want a handrail in your house, or you find it hard, do a chair. These are easy to install. There are companies out there that will come in and put them in. You sit down, you ride up, do what you need to do at the top of your stairs, sit down and come back down. It's easy. Chairs swivel so that they get you in and out pretty easily. They even have a seatbelt in case you're flying somewhere. But really, the chair will make a difference, especially if you have a lot of stairs. Okay, let's talk about winter falls. How many of you have heard of the term walk like a duck? Walking like a duck is what we in the safety world tell people, even not seniors, to walk when there's ice and snow or wet on the surface of where you're walking. Normally, we walk heel to toe. And that's how most people walk today. Walking like a duck means you're walking flat-footed, one step at a time. Smaller steps, but flat-footed. So your whole foot is touching the surface at the same time. It will really help eliminate falls and slips. How many of you have ever seen a penguin slip? Not too many. They know how to do it right. Another winter worry, and I put this in because, again, guys, we can do it all, right? We go out and shovel in the wintertime. Winter worries. So what happens when we shovel? We go out in our gym shoes and maybe put on some hiking boots or something, and then we not only slip and fall while we're picking up a load, but we also hurt our backs or our shoulders or something else. Be aware. You know what the answer to this is? Hire it out. Let somebody else do the work. If you can, get somebody else to do it for you. You have grandchildren, give them a couple bucks, let them shovel your walk. Or how to get right? Move to Florida or Arizona for the winter. Then you don't have to worry about it. That'd be nice for everybody. Okay, let's talk a little bit about motor vehicle safety. As seniors, none of us want to lose our mobility, and driving is a big deal. But we have to also be aware that sometimes as we get older, our reflexes get slower. Our vision is not always as good. And because we're taking more medication, we tend to get a little drowsy sometimes. As you can see here, the picture in the upper left with the car in the building was somebody who actually stepped on the gas when they thought they were stepping on the brake. It happens more often to seniors than it does to other drivers. Obviously, you can see the senior here at the wheel on the right, falling a little asleep. And down below, they're looking at a map and one who's had a little fender bump. Seniors have to be more aware when they drive than ever before. And it is the number 2 cause of injury and death in the United States, driving. And it's very high on the senior list, almost as high as false. We take more, like you said, more medication than other people. I won't ask this to raise your hand, but has anybody ever been on the phone when they were driving? You know, having served on the DOT's, I co-chaired the distracted driving committee for the secretary when Obama was in office. It's amazing how many people will tell me, I don't talk on the phone with my hand. I have it in my car. We have numerous studies, and if you want the studies, we can get them for you. They're at the Office of Transportation in Washington, that using a handheld or a hands-free cell phone causes the same distraction. Your mind leaves the road and goes to your conversation. Now, we've gotten laws passed about handheld cell phones, but they won't pass the laws about hand-free cell phones because there's no way to enforce it. But the bottom line is, you should know that when you're talking on your cell phone hands-free, it is the same distraction as talking handheld. So here I'll ask you to raise your hand. If you've ever been behind somebody, it doesn't have to be a senior, they got a red light, the light turns green, and the car in front of you or 2 cars in front of you just sits there. Has that ever happened to anybody here? Okay, and you get a little upset. Come on, let's go, and nobody's going. Well, guess what that person is 95% of the time doing? They're talking to somebody else on a cell phone or their laptop, and I've seen people with their laptops mounted on their dashboard. It is really imperative to know that as a senior, it's much easier for us to become distracted and not aware. We need our awareness 100%. And I'll let you look at the bottom picture. Cute little dog. Please do not drive with your dog in your front lap while you're driving. Put the dog on the side, put the dog in the back, but please, things happen very quickly when you're out doing 35 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour. And this could be an incident waiting to happen. Impaired driving, distracted driving, slow reaction time. Those are all the things we just talked about. Okay, let's go to choking and suffocation. Mainly because we as seniors don't chew our food well. There's things we can do. Make sure that we're concentrating on eating and what we're eating and how we're eating it. Taking smaller bites. Sometimes we have some dental issues that can cause us to eat less properly than we want to. And as my wife always tells me, slow down, because I'm a fast eater. So don't rush. Try and slow down. Take small bites. Make sure there's adequate lighting where you're eating. And if something does happen, do you know how to do the Heimlich maneuver? Now, as seniors, again, it's a harder thing to learn, and it's a harder thing to do. but it involves taking your fist, putting it below the sternum and above the navel or belly button, pulling hard in and up to try and dislodge whatever in the throat. Generally, what you're doing is the diaphragm is being deflated a little bit, and then it opens up and pushes all that air out, hopefully. If you can do it, if not, call 911, get somebody else to do it. The Heimlich maneuver has saved many lives, and it is important. Sometimes the first time you do it, it doesn't work. Sometimes you have to do it 3 or 4 times. But it is something that you should know about, especially as seniors, because we tend to choke a little bit more. Okay. Accidental poisoning. Some of the physicians have told me this a lot of times occurs when people either forget that they've taken their medication and said, well, maybe I better take it again. And so they take a double dose and when they're really not supposed to. And if you don't think this is a big issue, people die during accidental, about 87 people a year die, but 2,000 people get treated in the emergency rooms for this. 2,000 a year. And again, your vision, do you see what you're doing? Is it well lit in your bathroom area, wherever you keep your medication, in your kitchen area? Are you making sure you're taking the directions that are on your prescription bottle? It's really important. Accidental poisoning, follow the directions on the label. This one worked real well, so I guess I'll take another one. You know, I'm only supposed to take one every 12 hours, but it's only 6 hours, but it works, so maybe I'll try another one. Okay, I'm going to go to fires and burns now. We've been seeing an uptake in the number of senior homes that have had fires, a real uptake that have been reported at the National Safety Council. These are 3 types. What you see at the top is 3 different types of burns. First degree burn is basically some red skin, like a sunburn, a mild sunburn. Second degree burn, you get a blister. And the 3rd degree burn, you actually get some charring. All of them can be treated with ice. 2nd and 3rd degree burn, I highly recommend that you go see your physician, or in a 3rd degree burn, call 911 and get the paramedics out there. Cold water, ice. In some instances, like a 2nd degree burn, if you get a little blister, antibiotic ointment, and cover it loosely, not real tight. I'm going to read this statistic, even I know you all can read it. 50% of all home fires are cooking related. Cooking related. For seniors, it's over 65%. Wow, it jumps dramatically for seniors. Why does that happen? Well, here's 2 main reasons why it happens. Put something on the stove and I forget it's there, or I get distracted by something else, my cell phone or whatever, and all of a sudden it catches on fire. Or the other possibility is I cook something, take it to serve, and forget to turn off the oven or the range, and the gas is still flowing and the flames are still there. Now, I'm sure none of that has ever happened to any of you, but it does happen much more frequently in the senior world than it does in the non-senior world. Toaster oven, a lot of people will put the toaster oven on, not turn it off, or put something on at a much higher temperature and they catch on fire and you walk away. So these are the 2 big reasons that firefighters have said causes fires in the kitchen. Again, hopefully this is more of an awareness for you to think about when you go home. Do you have working smoke detectors? Now, a lot of us don't want smoke detectors in the ceiling because we have to change the battery, right? You have to get up there and change the battery. Not a good thing. We don't want you to get up and change the battery. So number 2 rule is having work CO2 detectors, because that's an important thing for, especially if you're in your own home and so forth. But now they've come out with one that you can plug in. You don't even need a battery. It's available in a lot of different places, online, in the home centers. The problem with the plug-in one, there's only one, and it's really more of a minor problem. You don't have plugs up high, especially in your kitchen. Well, you don't want to put it in your kitchen area. You should not have a smoke alarm in your kitchen area. It should be outside of your kitchen. But you don't have a lot of electrical outlets higher up where as smoke comes and becomes visible, it moves up. So the plug-in ones, you have to plug in at a lower level. But it's better than not having one because you don't want to change the batteries. So you have 2 choices here. A lot of CO2 detectors, by the way, can be at almost any level, and many of them now are plugins. But now they have a smoke detector CO2 combination that does both. Yes.
Monoxide and not CO2?
Yes. Thank you. Not carbon dioxide. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so how many of you have practiced an emergency escape plan should you need it in case of a fire? Couple people. This is highly recommended. Highly recommended. You all know where your front door is when you walk in your house. Some people know where their back doors are. You should take the time to figure out where you're going to go should you have a fire and how are you going to get out of your home. It is really important. How many of you have fire extinguishers in your home? A lot more hands. Thank you. Very good. Fire extinguishers should be on each level, sometimes in different rooms on the same level. And basically an ABC fire extinguisher and one that you can just spray at the base of the fire. Hopefully. What's the first thing you should do if you smell or see a fire? Call 911. Absolutely. First thing you should do. Don't try and put out the fire yourself. Call 911. If it's small and you have a fire extinguisher, great. Let the professionals do their job. Again, don't overload outlets as you see on the bottom in the middle. That causes electrical fires and space heaters. We talked about that in a little quiz. We want space heaters to be safe. Make sure you turn them off. Okay, kitchen safety. We talked a lot about this already. Good lighting, making sure you can reach things. Are your cabinets easy to open? Do you have a fire extinguisher and so forth? Your kitchen, you spend a lot of time in your kitchen. A lot of people do. Make sure it's comfortable and easy for you without being a hazard. Does anybody use a step stool? Few people. Notice the step stool here has high handrails. That's a good thing. Again, may help you, and when you get up to reach something, you have a third point to hold on to. 3 points of contact are always good. Now, I don't have one and I don't know of anybody that I know that has one. But number 7, the sink faucet have an anti-scald device. They are making them now. And as seniors, we tend to turn the water on and sometimes forget how hot it is or forget to turn it off. So, and if you use wax on your floors, remember, it can be slippery. I don't know if too many people do that anymore. Natural disasters. We just had how many tornadoes here in the Chicago area last week? A lot. So don't think we don't have natural disasters in this area. We do. Trees fall on houses. What do you do? Are you prepared, Dorothy? Do you have a plan? Do you have a kit? I happen to bring with me today, and I'm sorry the Zoom people can't see it. See this little device I'm holding up? This is for about $20, and I'm not going to tell you where because I'm not selling them. I'm just saying you can have these. This is an AM/FM radio, a flashlight. It will also charge my phone, and it works on solar power, so I can, if I do have solar power, and it has a hand crank. So if I don't have any power, I have light, I have radio, and I can charge my phone. Do you have something like that? Should you have something like that? Not very expensive. It's just another, and put it where you would go for, like when the tornado sirens went off. Did you go to your basement? Did you go to a room with no windows? Put this there, along with a couple bottles of water, so that you have something that you can rely on in case you lose your power. Because I know in Illinois, we don't lose our power very often. So this doesn't happen. I mean,
What's that called? Your device.
a solar powered AM/FM emergency flashlight radio, something like that.
Oh,
I'm making it up. I honestly don't know the actual name, but it's available in a lot of different places, something like this. Do a little research online and you'll find something similar to this. They make them bigger too, if you want, or just an emergency flashlight that you can wind up. This is old technology. We're getting out of the new technology. This wind up stuff is old technology. Been around for a long, long time. But it's something we should have because unfortunately, once in a great while, we do lose power in Illinois. And do you have an emergency kit somewhere that you can rely on? When the storms come in and the trees knock out power and everything else, do you have an emergency kit? A lot of people have generators. That's great. They can keep things going. Be prepared. Ladder safety. The safest way is to let somebody else do it. Whether you're hanging your holiday lights or fixing your gutters or fixing your home. I hope you all notice who that is. And let somebody else do it. Do you see any problems with this step stool little ladder? There's nothing for this person to hold on to. And he's on the top step. If you have to go up on a ladder, never go on the top step. You should be 1 or 2 steps below the top, always. But the best way is to let somebody else do it. So we have some additional concerns: heavy lifting objects, vision, balance. These are all things that affect us as seniors that we need to be aware of when you go home, like the video said, do a little safety audit in your house. See the areas that you can improve to get your safety better so that you don't have one of those falls that they talk about. And I'm guessing that a lot of people here know somebody who, if not yourself, somebody who has fallen and been injured. So be aware. Any thoughts, any questions? Oh, by the way, these are my resources. There, I got a lot of my information. These are all available online. OSHA, the DOT, National Safety Council. Any questions? I'll be happy to try and answer.
Alan, that was excellent. Thank you for the wonderful information. And we know that you have allowed this program to be taped. So eventually all of this information and our repeat viewing of it is available through the North Shore Senior website. I'll be able to take questions, a few of them, because we are going to have pizza today, but I know you're going to hang out and people can approach you. Is that correct?
I'll be here for a little bit.
Okay, for a little bit. Thank you. We'll hear.
Many seniors are still dog owners, and we know many of them who have fallen while they've been walking their dogs at night. It's a very dangerous situation because a lot of times they walk during the winter and the ground is icy. So people have to be aware of that because, as I say, we know quite a few who still own dogs. And in terms of that, I have a pair of cleats, which I've bought, which clip onto the soles of your shoe. And they could be basically either for men or women. They're very inexpensive. You could get those at Amazon, and they dig into the ice as you're walking. And those are a very inexpensive safety precaution.
Thank you.
Thank you. My doctor, who just retired, gave me a little speech about travel, and especially traveling hotel rooms, etc., around the country. Never ever put your suitcases data between you and the bathroom, ever. He said he gets so many calls from his patients who have stumbled and fallen because of that. Thank you.
Good point. Good point.
Speaking of transportation, last Thanksgiving, my daughter and I were flying to San Francisco to have Thanksgiving dinner, excuse me, with my son. And the flight from O'Hare to San Francisco Airport is about 4.5 hours. And I'm sitting in coach like this, and I didn't get up and walk. The moment I got off the plane and stepped into the San Francisco airport, I went over. I didn't fall on anything, and I fractured my hip. I'm fine today, but get up, if you're flying on a plane, get up once or twice and walk around, and that'll help.
Good point.
Good point.
Yeah, a brief interlude. We could use a couple of volunteers there. They're helping pizza. No experience needed. Just go back and help. They're looking, a couple people, just go back and volunteer. Thanks.
You have a question?
There's a,
Just a quick comment on the let someone else do it. The last time I messed with a smoke alarm, I now have someone else do it, and I have just an arrangement with our handyman. 1st of June, 1st of January, no matter what, you come and change the batteries. They all say 10 years on them. I don't believe them. So every 6 months, we have a standing date. He comes and changes the batteries on the smoke alarms.
And,
good point. Really good point.
and a fireman comes twice a year to clean our gutters. And a member of our church almost died cleaning his gutters.
I just have a suggestion about the Heimlich maneuver. If you are with a partner that is much bigger than you and you can't get your arms around them to do any pressure, or you're alone, you could also lean over the edge of a hard chair or a railing and use that to give the pressure to get the stuff up.
Absolutely. Good point. Thank you.
Another question back here.
Just a suggestion, the North Shore Senior Center has a grant program to help pay for installation of grab bars. And it's state of Illinois money that they administer. And I just installed grab bars in my bathrooms at zero cost.
That's a great point. So there you go.
I don't remember.
You're right here. Get a grant.
Yeah, I don't have the names of the two people that run the program, but it's right. They're right here.
In other words, what he's saying is you go to the social services office, say, understand there's a grab bar program where you be subsidized. Is that correct?
It's not just grab bars, it's any safety improvements in your house. Could be the tub changes you're talking about, and you can get more information from them, but it is available.
So there's information available where you can do some upgrading safety wise, and the North Shore Senior Center will help fund it or fund it.
Right. I think we have to leave now, but I want to make one comment that you may be familiar with. How many here are State Farm home property rent owners? If you're State Farm, if you insurance, State Farm insurance. State Farm Insurance offers a free program called Ting. And Ting is an electrical device. You just put a plug in onto one of your plugs, and it's totally free. And it's, I'm not promoting State Farm, but if you do have State Farm, if Ting came on, what it is you plug this little extension into any outlet that's not in your kitchen or bathroom, and it monitors all your wiring, and it subsidizes any problem because State Farm doesn't want your home to burn down. They'd rather give you this $200 or $300 free product, quote unquote. It's part of your insurance premium that you're paying for. So if you see Ting, I have it. And what they did was, okay, and then we'll give that to you for that. Okay, well, I'll walk back here. Well, I'm just telling them that the Ting device gives me a weekly report. It tells me when there are surges, and it gives examples of how it found people that had their house almost burned down because of wiring that they never saw. So if you have Ting, if you have State Farm, just react to the free offer that they gave. It's totally free. Okay, now there's a Zoom question.
Just a real quick question, and I know a few people have asked me, even in the auditorium. Ruth Schneiderman on Zoom says, where can you buy those devices? They sound so good. I suggest Amazon.
Amazon, absolutely.
Just
There's
look
some other
online.
devices like the plug-in fire detector and smoke and CO2 detector. You can get it at most any home improvement store.
Okay.
Ace Hardware, Home Depot, Lowe's. But you can also buy them on Amazon.
Alan, we'll take one more question if someone had one. We don't. Great.
No.
Thank you so much, Alan.